Peace. This is Cyberspace Ministry. I am Black Light, aka Professor Soul School Phenomenal. This is the Aboriginal Universal Supreme Conscious Council of the Elders. We're going to tune into a higher vibration today, and this is the basics on how to do this. It says, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked. The enemy that soweth them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be a wailing and a gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Be in the world, but not of the world. Start tearing yourself away from bad habits. All the habits that are not beneficial to you. And I'm going to show you a habit that's not beneficial to you. You've seen this many times before. Now you say, how is this not beneficial to you? That's Grant, right? He's was a general that was in the Civil War that became president. And all the presidents are put on some forms of this note right here, Federal Reserve Note. And says this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. Now, how did this note get to be legal? So we got a bunch of them, you know. Don't mean nothing. This don't mean nothing. Then we got the White House. But we don't have the Black House. Now to me, let's see. This right here is the Black House, that pyramid. But they put a white eye over it. That's the eyeball of a white man. This right here represents the phoenix. It's not an eagle. Phoenix. That represents the black man, not the white man. As you see, they got Washington on the $1 bill. As the bills go up, now Washington was the founder, right? Founding fathers. He was with the founding fathers. This guy right here, he represents the new America, because they conquered or defeated the southern America, or the southern part of the United States, put it like that. Now, when this guy right here defeated it, this was when his army defeated the southern army, and they merged the southern part to the northern part and became one United States. A new era began. The slaves were, they say they was free, but they still call them free slaves, right? The slaves were not free, but traded. They left from the southern control into northern control. Put it like that. They changed hands. And the one that was controlling all this, what we call is the hidden hand. So they use ancient Egyptian terms like Illuminati and Masonry and all like that, because they studied the science of building. Now, I'm going to show you how to evaluate, estimate the worth of yourself and of where you at. The day of judgment also means evaluation. So how to evaluate yourself, and how to evaluate this world. So the enemy is very clever in this way. This is a technique of how he operates. At one time there was a nation of Native Americans called the Seminoles. They were Islamic orientated. They wore turbans. At one time they had a black chief and what you call a red chief. Well, the black chief was called John Horse. I forgot the name of the red chief. But they defeated the United States Army. Couldn't defeat them. They were last of the few Indians that they couldn't defeat. These guys were deeper than the Apaches. So, because they went back up into Florida, Everglades, these brothers here, the Seminole, and the United States Army couldn't get up in there. They couldn't hang with that type of jungle, the Florida Everglades, And they had farms up in there. They lasted a long time. And under the guidance of this black Indian called John Horse. John Horse was a runaway slave. And I guess he went to his people, or either they adopted him. But he governed the Indians and led them to Florida, because they was in another part of the United States. And John Horse had them thriving because the red chief caught a disease, and we weren't subjugated to diseases back then. and we could withstand withstand the heat, the weather, all that stuff, you know. So they had to get the Buffalo Soldiers to go in the Everglades and mess with the Seminoles. Buffalo Soldiers defeated the Seminoles. Now, how did they get them to fight against their own people? They told them that the Seminoles was going to make slaves out of them. Now, this same tactic is going on right now. We having what you call cyberspace wars, and people trying to sway you. Now, the enemy is using black Buffalo Soldiers against the last of the brothers that refuse to bow down and know the game of the Caucasian. So if you hear a brother tearing another brother down, you know, it might be a trick to divide you. And I'm gonna say it like this, you know. When I was coming up, we used to use this terminology, cool. You know, be cool, brother, because we didn't act on emotions. We didn't. We could talk about each other's mama, man. You know, we could say your mama did this, did that. You know, we used to just sit up there and just cap on each other for hours. You know, sometimes we could make a brother cry, and sometimes a brother would fight. But most of the time, man, we would, you know, we just be thinking of how to cap on a brother, you know. And names didn't too much get to us, man. It was fun, you know. And we talk about each other's mama, daddy, you know. We could call that cap sessions, you know. We used to just cap on each other. So now, you know, we still was cool, you know. We was cool. We always was cool, man. We didn't get emotional. But now all of a sudden, you know, brothers get emotional and almost want to cry, want to fight, want to kill each other. And you got to be suspect of that. That's the technique of the enemy. He's been doing that for a minute. So you got to be in the world but not of the world. That's the only way you're going to spot this. You got to be conscious of, do you want to build a world for yourself? Do you want to rule your own world? We're going to get back to you in this other next half. Black Light out.